In 2010, a Pakistani Christian woman, Asia Noreen, commonly known as Asia Bibi or Asia Bibi, was convicted of blasphemy by a Pakistani court and was sentenced to death by hanging. In October 2018, the Supreme Court of Pakistan acquitted her based on insufficient evidence, though she was not allowed to leave Pakistan until the verdict was reviewed. She was held under armed guard and was not able to leave the country until the 7th of May 2019. She arrived in Canada the next day. In June 2009, Noreen was accused of blasphemy after an argument with co-workers while harvesting berries. She was subsequently arrested and imprisoned. In November 2010, a Sheikhupur judge sentenced her to death by hanging. The verdict was upheld by Lahore High Court and received worldwide attention. Various petitions for her release were created by organizations aiding persecuted Christians, such as Voice of the Martyrs, including one that received 400,000 signatures. Pope Benedict XVI and Pope Francis called for the charges to be dismissed. She received less sympathy in comparison in the country, where some adamantly called for her to be executed. Minorities Minister Shahbaz Bhatti and Punjab Governor Saman Taseer were both assassinated for advocating on her behalf and opposing the blasphemy laws. Noreen's family went into hiding after receiving death threats by Islamic fundamentalists, some of which threatened to kill Noreen if released from prison. Muslim cleric Maulana Yousaf Qureshi announced a bounty of 500,000 Pakistani rupees to anyone who would kill her. On the 31st of October 2018, the Supreme Court of Pakistan acquitted Noreen, citing material contradictions and inconsistent statements of the witnesses, which cast a shadow of doubt on the prosecution's version of facts. The decision sparked protests headed by Islamist parties in major cities of the country, but was praised by human rights groups and those advocating on behalf of Christian minorities, such as International Christian Concern. Open doors and aid to the church in need. On the 2nd of November 2018, however, the government of Pakistan signed an agreement with the Tehreek-e-Labbaik political party TLP, which was leading the protests. This agreement barred Noreen from leaving the country. It led to accusations that the executive was capitulating to extreme. Italy, Canada, as well as other Western countries worked to help her leave Pakistan. On the 7th of November 2018, she was released from the new jail for women in Malton. However, by Christmas, she was reported to have spent Christmas Day in some form of custody. On the 29th of January 2019, a petition requesting an appeal against the court's decision to acquit Noreen was rejected, lifting the last legal hurdle in the case and paving the way for her to leave the country. On the 11th of April 2019, Prime Minister Imran Khan, who had previously attacked hardliners appealing them to be calm, stated that a complication had delayed her departure from the country. On the 8th of May 2019, she landed in Canada and was reported to be doing well. The blasphemy law in Pakistan has resulted in the extrajudicial killings, incited by accusations of over 60 people, has been blamed for dozens of communal attacks that have taken place against religious minorities on the pretext of blasphemy. It has been used by individuals as a tool for revenge against other people. Noreen was the first woman in Pakistan to be sentenced to death for blasphemy and would have been the first person in Pakistan to be executed for blasphemy under the current law. Background and arrest: 2009-2010. Asia Noreen was born and raised in Itanwali, a small rural village in the Sheikhupur district of Punjab, Pakistan, 30 miles outside of Lahore. Poor Christians in the district and elsewhere in Pakistan often have lower-class occupations such as cleaning and sweeping. Noreen, who is a Catholic, worked as a farmhand in Sheikhupur to support her family. She married a Sheikh Masi, a brick laborer who had 3 children from a previous marriage and had 2 children with him. Noreen and her family were the only Christians in the village. Before her incarceration, she had been repeatedly urged by her fellow workers to convert to Islam. In June 2009, Noreen was harvesting falsa berries with a group of other women farmhands in a field in Sheikhupura. 43, she was asked at one point to fetch water from a nearby well. She complied but stopped to take a drink with an old metal cup she had found lying next to the well. A neighbor of Noreen, Musarit, who had been involved in a running feud with Noreen's family about some property damage, saw her and angrily told her that it was forbidden for a Christian to drink water from the same utensil from which Muslims drink, and that some of the other workers considered her to be unclean because she was a Christian. Referring to the caste system in Pakistan, Noreen recounts that when they made derogatory statements about Christianity and demanded that she convert to Islam, she responded, "I believe in my religion and in Jesus Christ, who died on the cross for the sins of mankind." What did your prophet Muhammad ever do to save mankind? And why should it be me that converts instead of you? An argument ensued. A mob came to her house, beating her and members of her family before she was taken away by the police. 39, the police initiated an investigation about her remarks, resulting in her arrest under Section 295C of the Pakistan Penal Code. In an interview with CNN, local police officer Muhammad Ilyas claimed that Noreen said that the Quran is fake and your prophet remained in bed for 1 month before his death because he had worms in his ears and mouth. He married Khadija just for money, and after looting her, kicked her out of the house. Village Imam Kari Muhammad Salim, to whom Noreen's co-workers reported the alleged blasphemy, claimed that Noreen confessed to him and apologized. On the other hand, the Asian Human Rights Commission published a letter that stated, 5 days after the incident, a local Muslim leader, Kari Salim, jumped into the matter and pressured some people in the area to claim that she committed blasphemy. When finding no way to get Ms. Bibi to confess, Salim used the loudspeakers of the mosque, as other Muslim leaders usually do in the cases of alleged blasphemy acts, to spread the news of blasphemy and instigate the people of the locality to punish the alleged blasphemer. The people of the locality beat her severely in the presence of her children. She was subsequently imprisoned for over a year before being formally charged. Noreen denied that she had committed blasphemy and said that she had been accused by her neighbor to settle an old score. In November 2010, Muhammad Naveed Iqbal, a judge at the court of Sheikhupura, Punjab, sentenced her to death by hanging. Additionally, a fine the equivalent of $1,100 was imposed on her. With the verdict, she became the first woman condemned to death in Pakistan on blasphemy charges. Noreen described the day of her sentencing as follows. "I cried alone, putting my head in my hands. I can no longer bear the sight of people full of hatred, applauding the killing of a poor farm worker. I no longer see them, but I still hear them, the crowd who gave the judge a standing ovation, saying, 'Kill her, kill her.' Allahu Akbar." The courthouse is invaded by a euphoric horde who break down the doors, chanting, "Vengeance for the Holy Prophet. Allah is great." I was then thrown like an old rubbish sack into the van. I had lost all humanity in their eyes. Noreen's husband, Ashik Masih, 51 years old at the time, announced that he planned to appeal the verdict, which has to be upheld by the Lahore High Court. A month later, Saman Taseer, the governor of Punjab who investigated the affair for President Asif Ali Zardari, stated that Noreen would most likely be pardoned if the High Court did not suspend the sentence. Zardari was poised to grant pardon, but the High Court issued a stay order against a potential presidential pardon, which remains in force to date. Court transcripts showed numerous inconsistencies in the evidence presented, and reporters said they dare not repeat Noreen's testimony lest they also be accused of blasphemy. Noreen was put in solitary confinement in an 8 by 10 foot 2.4 meters times 3.0 meters cell without windows at the Lahore prison. Before his assassination, Taseer visited her at the jail several times with his wife, Amna, and daughter, Shabano, though Pakistani court officials later ruled that she could be visited only by her husband and lawyer. Khalid Sheikh, the prison superintendent, said that while he wanted her to be treated like any other prisoner, she had to be kept away from other inmates for her own well-being, as other individuals accused of blasphemy had been killed while in prison. The Masihi Foundation, a human rights group, described her physical condition as very frail, and her health was reported to be in decline due to poor living conditions at the jail. She has also been threatened by other inmates and subjected to physical abuse from prison guards. According to Human Rights Watch, Noreen's situation is not unusual. Though no one has been executed for blasphemy yet in Pakistan, the accused often remain in prison for a long time while the case is being processed. In May 2014, Noreen's appeal hearing was delayed for the 5th time.